Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Hafim, and thank you for joining. We want to continue our discussions. In fact, it's coming to the end, and it will never end. The atrocities that happened to Syeda Fatima Zehra, they will, however much we talk about it, it's not enough. But there are a few things based on our discussions that I wanted to clarify based on my understanding.
Why everybody should start an investigation for that crime of 18 years old who has passed dramatically without any apparent reason. So
Yes.
why you have, and in that discussion, as you remember, we said that you asked was why have any person has to, that's something in the past, why he has to investigate it.
Exactly,
and I told you because that will affect his or her hereafter.
Yes.
And you ask me, but some will ask how this thing could affect my hereafter, my fate in the akhirah, how that could happen, right? Do you like to actually I love to start answering this question too.
Absolutely. I think that's the fundamental question. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with from that point. How what happened to Syeda Fatima Zahra, even though the victim has died 1400 years ago, and that is a very long distance from in time for us now. So how this could affect my hereafter? It is not something related to me, to my deeds.
Yes.
How it could affect this my hereafter. Of course, we have here that one of the hadith which both of the Sunnah and the Shia agreed upon, that Fatima bid'atun minni يؤذيها ما يؤذيني ويؤلمها ما ويؤلمني ما يؤلمها. Fatima is a piece of my heart. Whatever hurt her, it will hurt me. Whatever injured her, it will injure me. And based also on that, we have a clear ayah in the Quran. إن الذين يؤذون رسول الله أولئك في الأذلين. Those who hurt the Prophet, أولئك, or those will be from those who will be loser at the judgment day. Because hurting the Prophet is a big crime to Allah, regardless of the time. Even if you hurt the Prophet after his death, it's still a same crime, because if the Prophet is dead as they claim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alive, eternally is alive. So even if you pass away, and we have example like that in the dunya. If I kill somebody and 10 years passed and then they arrest me, hello?
Yes.
Okay. And somebody arrest me, they will say, oh, that the guy who get killed, he passed away 10 years ago, so why we have to set this person in trial now? Nobody do that. Even if you kill somebody 200 years ago, still you could be asked and questioned, right? Yes. So that is very well known. So regardless of the time, if you hurt the Prophet, you will deserve the punishment from Allah as described in the Quran. And I urge the listener to go back to the Quran and look for this ayat which talk about those who hurt the Prophet. As I remember, I think in Surah Al-Mujadala and in Surah Al-Ahzab, right?
Yes.
And in one of these occasions, Allah said, وَمَا كَانَ لَكُمْ أَن تُؤْذُوا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا أَزْوَاجِهِ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ أَبَدًا. You will never marry the wife of the Prophet after his death. So here, even that ayah talking after the death of the Prophet. You can't hurt the Prophet, and you can't marry any one of the wives of the Prophet after him. So death or alive, it doesn't matter. Allah is the judge, he is living. eternally. So we can't say that, oh, that person has died. So whoever hurt the Prophet by the quote of the ayat in the Quran, he will be punished on the hereafter. That is one thing. And the other thing, that whoever, according to the hadith Sahih, it is in the both Sunnah and Shia, no doubt about it, that anybody hurt Syeda Fatima Zehra AS will hurting the Prophet. And whoever hurt the Prophet is hurting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the hadith which agreed upon by most, almost the Muslim Ummah. And the second hadith, which may be more on it is a pure Shia hadith, but it's still present in some Sunni books, that hadith which said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala get pleased when Fatima get pleased, and Allah become upset when Fatima become upset, right?
Right.
We have this hadith for us definitely, and for some of them in the Sunni books, they wrote this hadith. So based on these two things, the ayah and the hadith, if you hurt Syeda Fatima Zehra alayhi salam, if you injure her, if you upset her, and that is the proof she present in front of Abu Bakr and Umar when they come to apologize, right?
Yeah. Yes.
She told them, I ask you and Allah witness upon you to answer me truthfully. Didn't Rasulullah said you this and this and this, whoever hurt Fatima is hurting me, and whoever hurt me? And they testified that yes, we heard the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that. So then she added, so let you be witness that you hurt me and you never believe me, you upset me and you never gain my approval. So that's become an eternal testimony against them. So in that aspect, definitely they will be punished, because they hurt the Sayyidah Fatima, and whoever hurt Fatima hurt the Prophet, and whoever hurt the Prophet is hurting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he can find all his deeds on the judgment day gone. Now comes the second question. Somebody can ask, okay, maybe the person who hurt her, he will suffer. But
Right.
why me?
Right.
I didn't hurt her, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now come the answer. And I will take the answer from the mouth of the Sunnis. You know that there is some groups of Muslims, especially in Iran, they go and celebrate the day of the killing of Umar, and they make some festival around the they make like a shrine for Abu Lu'lu'a, in the person who killed Umar,
Right.
in Iran, and they make like a festival, and they try to set alive this night over there celebrating. Okay.
Right.
So what a regular Sunni can say or do regarding this, what he will say about those people who are celebrating the killer of Umar, how they will label him. He is a mu'min, the person who do that. For them, he is a mu'min, he is a Muslim,
No.
or they consider him a kafir.
No. Kafir.
Yeah. Why? Based on what? Based on what? He is not the one who killed Umar.
Right.
You judge him kafir because he support or didn't object or celebrate the action of the person who killed Umar. But he himself, he didn't kill anybody. But he didn't show remorse for killing Umar. Actually, he is praising the person who killed Umar. And that's for them is not acceptable. They judge him to kufr and death. Right?
Yes.
That is all the ijma' of Ahl Sunnah on that. So what about us? You are celebrating, you are enjoying and give celebrity to a person, on our view, killed the lady of the heaven, killed سيدة نساء العالمين. So for us, Omar is like Abu Lu'lu'a for you.
True.
Yes. So if you judge any person who love Abu Lu'lu'a, who admire Abu Lu'lu'a, we also can judge any person who love Omar and admire Omar for kufr. It is the same measures.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What they say about a person who love Abu Lu'lu'a, what will happen to him in the hereafter? They will tell him, oh, of course, his hereafter, it ended. All his, but he is praying, he is fasting. No, no, all his action will be invalid and he will be in the hellfire. So they agree on the same principle, right?
Yes. Yes.
The killing of Omar happened 1400 years ago.
Yes.
And that person is not Abu Lu'lu'a who killed the Omar.
Yes.
But see, on their views, that if you love the killer of Omar, this will ruin your hereafter. For us, the same thing. If you love the killer of Syeda Fatima Zehra, this will ruin your after. That's why we ask you to investigate. Because after investigation, if it proved for you that yes, that personality caused the harm and inflict the wounds which led to the Shahada of Syeda Fatima Zehra AS, this could very easily ruin your hereafter. The same logics. Right? That's from them. I just apply to us whatever they apply for themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Don't come and they make it haram for me. And why I have to worry? But for you, no, anybody kill Omar, he should be kafir and he should be killed. And okay, what about the killer of Syeda Fatima Zahra? Oh, who you know that who he killed? Okay, just then go and investigate. Now you reach the point that you have to investigate, because based on this investigation, it will affect your hereafter. And don't tell me the same argument again that, okay, that something happened 1400 years ago, why it should affect my hereafter. I think that is clear now, Farhan.
Yes, Dr. Adam, thank you very much. This is very, very interesting similarity. So this is, you gave an example from like what people think about, especially like the broader Muslims think about Abu Lu'lu'a because he killed Umar. Is there anything that you can talk from a perspective of, okay, if it is, let's say the example is not about Abu Lu'lu'a or someone who's praising Abu Lu'lu'a, but in general, like a person who praises or supports a killer who could be a killer, what is the punishment for that
Any
person?
killer?
Yes, any in general, like a person who's doing wrong and someone supports that wrong deed, is it considered like part of that wrong? I think it is.
Of course, Allah said in the Quran, فَمَنْ قَتَلَ نَفْسًا بغير نفس فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Whoever kill a nafs without a legitimate Islamic reason, he become to Allah like he killed all the people on the face of earth. Surah An-Nisa.
Great. And what
من
about the
أجل ذلك
supporters?
كتبنا على بني إسرائيل. And
Yes.
now when Allah talking about the story of Qabil, Cain and Apple, Allah said من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا.
Great. And what about the supporters? Like supporters who were who support the atrocity, like for example, supporters who support the tyrant. Today, after 1400 years, or the supporters who were at that time who supported that
Yes,
tyranny?
very good. We have also the narration of the Prophet, which agreed upon all Muslims, that the Prophet has said, whoever accept and support and support an action of another person or another group of people, he will be responsible for the same action like the actual doer of that crime.
Wow, okay.
We have that. That is the hadith when Jabir ibn Abdullah, he visiting the Ziyarat al-Arba'in for the first time, right?
Yes.
And what happened? He stay crying beside the grave of the Imam Hussein, and he kept saying, أشهد أننا شاركناكم في الأجر. I bear witness that we are your partner on the ajr. We take a share of your ajr. So Atiyah al-Kufi, his companion, asked him, how come we share with them in the ajr while we didn't, those people has been killed, their heads has been beheaded, while we are intact, we didn't suffer anything. How come we take the same ajr? Then Jabir ibn Abdullah told him, I bear witness to Allah that I hear the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that whoever accept and be pleased with the action of a group of people, whether good or bad, he will be their partner in their reward or their punishment.
Mm.
And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed Banu Israel in the Quran بقتلهم الأنبياء. لعنهم الله بقتلهم الأنبياء. Allah cursed them because they killed the prophets. So the Prophet has been asked, but Ya Rasulullah, those Jews in the Medina now, they didn't kill any prophets. So why Allah cursing them? What was the answer of the Prophet? That is in Sunni books too. The Prophet told them, because they approve the actions of their ancestors.
Wow,
That is
okay.
why Allah, they deserve the curse like the actual doer of the crime. Because they are pleased with the action. They approve for the action. And that's why when we make ziyarat Ashura, what we say, وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً أَسْرَجَتْ وَأَلْجَمَتْ وَتَأَهَبَتْ وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. Any ummah, any group of people heard about that and they become pleased or didn't project against it, may the curse of Allah be upon them. And that is ziyarah narrated from the Imam, right?
Yes.
So I think now we show clearly why any person has to investigate the death of Syeda Fatima Zehra out of fear for his or her hereafter. That is will affect your judgment day. Even if you pray and fast and do everything, and you didn't investigate who is the criminal in this case, which directly hurt the Prophet and hurt the daughter of the Prophet. And the hadith is very clear, and the Quran is very clear regarding those who hurt the Prophet, whether during his life or after his death. This will ruin their hereafter. So based on that, you have to investigate, because your hereafter is a indirect threat. If you fail to investigate and you end that you are praising the killer of Syeda Fatima Zehra, and you end loving him, and you give bay'ah or allegiance to him, or consider him Amirul Mu'mineen, while he is the killer of peace of the Prophet. He killed the heart of the Prophet.
Right. And just to extend this similarity, if so at that time Umar was able to do this because Sayyidah Fatima Zahra and Imam Ali did not have enough supporters. Otherwise, if they had supporters, obviously Umar or like all the other Muslims, couldn't like do this. And then Sayyidah Fatima Zehra would have been happier because of the support that she had and who protected the home. So fast forward 1400 years, whoever condemns that action and says, yes, this happened and we condemn what happened, and if we were there, we would have stopped it or like gave our life, we would be with Sayyidah Fatima Zehra in her on the other side versus Umar.
Absolutely. You are 100% right. So if you now support Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, and Allah know the reality in your heart that if you are present at that time, you will stand against the tyrant and you will stand beside Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and you will not fail her like the Ansar did. On the judgment day, you will take the same rewards of Salman and Abi Dhar and those who stand firmly in support of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. You will share them with the ajr, regardless of the time, the 1400 years which has passed. Who cares for the time is something for us here on the dunya, but to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, time is nothing.
Right. And how would, just to build on this, what does that mean in order to support Sayyidah Fatima Zehra today? Does it mean to just keep quiet? Does it mean to like keep in taqiyya, just say, or ignore this, what is happening? Or when this issue is raised, be firm and say, no, it happened. And we know this happened, and we are quiet because of like what does standing mean, or just know that this
that is actually very good question. I like the question which realistic and apply whatever we are talking to our current affair, our everyday life. How can now we support Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam? We have to ask first, the Sayyidah Fatima Zahra gave her life for what? She has been injured, she has been killed, but why? What was she defending? She gave her life for what reason?
to protect the imamat, to
protect the imamat. And the imamat here represents the Islam, the deen. So if you want to support Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, now one of the things that is you should support the imamat through believing it and through revolving the imamat. رحم الله من أحيا أمرنا. Because Sayyidah Fatima Zahra gave her life for that reason, to protect the imam. So if you every time you carry out the orders of our imams, every time you set alive the commemoration or the shahada of the birth of our imams, and always you remember them, that is serve the cause of the shahada of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayha salam. And also Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, why she paid with her life? What she was doing during that time? She was challenging the tyrant of her time. So every time you challenging a tyrant of your time who can carry other name in different place, you are serving the cause of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. You are setting alive the affair of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. All that considered to be supporting the cause of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. A third thing, what about the tragedy of itself which happened to Sayyidah Fatima Zahra? Can we should keep silent, or we keep move vigorously regarding this? Yes, we should definitely. We should keep vigorously regarding this. How? Talking to people, exposing the facts of the history, trying to shed the light on the crime, and urge people to investigate, urge people exactly what you are doing, to urge people to investigate the crime yourself. And definitely you reach the reality. But you have to do all of that wisely, not randomly, because any action could be done wisely and it could be done foolishly and randomly. You, especially this task, you should do it wisely, by organizing way or organized way, not randomly and not foolishly. Because if you do it foolishly, you can bring more harm than benefit, than good. While if you do it wisely, you could reach easily your goals without causing much of collateral damage in your way. Because that is the most important thing. So as you see, there is multiple ways we can achieve this goal. Many ways we can. Each goal of them is very important. Support the imamat and revive the issue of the imamats and carry the guidance of our imams, which is the deen. That is supporting of Syeda Fatima Zehra AS. Standing against the tyrants of your time. That is supporting the cause of Syeda Fatima Zehra AS. So when Imam Hussein stand against Yazid, he was supporting the cause of Syeda Fatima Zehra AS. It was just a continuation. She stand against Umar. Imam Ali stand against Muawiyah. Imam Hassan stand against Muawiyah. Imam Hussein stand against Yazid, and so on and so forth. So it is a new episode of the same series. You see, so it is the same theme. The theme or the main idea is the same. Everyone practices it with his own way. So if you set alive the musibah of Imam al-Kazim alayhi salam, on the same time you are setting alive the musibah of Syeda Fatima Zehra alayhi salam. There is we can't here separate, because the musibah of Syeda Fatima Zehra was just the first episode of all this chain of tragedies which we are living until now. And the third thing, the effort you are doing, writing, talking, calling, making videos, sitting by every mean this issue alive, talking to Sunni brothers, try to prove them, even if they didn't get convinced. It is not my job to convince you with anything, like the tabligh of Islam. Are you asked to convert everybody to be a Muslim? No. But it is obligation upon you to make tabligh, right? To convey the message. Whoever will accept it or not accept it, that is not your business. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر. So in that aspect, it's fine. And by the way, it is not just about the Fatima Zahra. When we say that Imam Hassan alayhi salam has been killed, poisoned, they said no, Hassan has died from natural causes. We told them, go and investigate, because if it proves that Imam Hassan has been killed while you still praising his killer, and you say Muawiyah radiallahu an, you will pay a heavy price in the hereafter. The same thing. The same measures applied. When we tell you that Harun al-Rashid la'anahullah killed Imam al-Kazim alayhi salam, you say, no, that is fabrication of the Shia. Okay, go and investigate. Go and in the history and investigate. Because if you didn't investigate and you belie what you are saying to you, then you are hurting the Prophet, and hurting the Prophet definitely invalid all your deeds in the hereafter. So it is not only about Syeda Fatima Zehra alayhi salam. It's about all the killings of our Imams alayhi salam.
Right.
You are required by law, by Allah laws, to go and investigate and reach a verdict on your personal level. I didn't ask you to convince all the ummah of Islam for anything, but just to convince yourself that to judge this case, is there a crime here or there is no crime? And you will carry the consequences of your verdict at the end. It will affect definitely your hereafter.